Do you want to have unstoppable combos? Well, watch this video. Coach Keith Kepner here. With combination punching, it is obviously one of the theoretically easiest ways to be a better boxer. But as you guys know, for anyone that has boxed much, it can be easier said than done. And when we're approaching this, we have different physical blocks and mental blocks. So we're going to talk about some of that in this video. I also have a new analysis and breakdown called ComboCraft, going deep into combinations, all the theory behind it, as well as practical practices with it. Rounds of shadow boxing where I'm calling it out for you, what to throw, when to throw, and a lot of different powerful tools along with that. So there's a description or a link for that in the description below or in the comments. Go check that out. Now, yesterday I was doing a little bit of sparring work. I've been dipping my toe back into it just to keep a little bit of timing and things like that. And also, it's always good as a coach to get back on the playing field here and there. And doing it with newer guys. And I was doing it with this one guy about 220 pounds and doing different shots, and he was moving his head, doing different positions, things like that. And I was like, okay, well, let me make sure I got the answers for it. And it struck me in that moment of the metaphor of punches being like flowing water. When water flows through whether it's a canal or cracks and crevices, it doesn't think about what it's doing. It just goes. Gravity forces it through. And that's what allows it to do it so well. Anyone knows that's ever had a leak, or you see a river, rushing through a canyon, it just does it. And I realized that's actually, at least for me, and at least what it looks like when you visually see a good combination punch to throw, that's how they throw. They're not thinking about each individual drop or unit or molecule of water, which is their punch. They're just letting it gush through. And that's where metaphors can be very powerful, very helpful. They can also be limiting too, if you don't have the right metaphor. So if you, I can't think of a good example right now, but it's something to definitely watch out for. There's empowering metaphors. There's metaphors that unlock and open up more capabilities and potential. And there's also ones that diminish. So be careful. But it's true with our speech and our thinking. Obviously, our thinking gets represented with our speech, and vice versa, how we talk to ourselves, right? But saying things like, everybody does this, or this always happens, or why can't I throw better combinations, right? A better question to ask yourself is how? How can I throw better combinations? How can I land more combinations? And hopefully that is something that we're going to get better at with this video, but it only works when you do the work. Knowing it is one thing. It's only potential power. Knowledge is not power. It's only potential. Actualization, doing the work, is where power is created. Now, because power is what? The ability to act, the actual actions of it. Knowledge is worthless without the action. Now, again, like I mentioned with punches, we think in terms of drops, right? Single punches, this, that. And again, we learn these single punches, but letting those hands go. And just like one drop of water doesn't do much to the ground, doesn't do much to a rock, but enough water over enough time can erode very hard rock. And that's how your punches will be, because you can break through defenses, you can flow around defenses, and just like water, enough water over enough time can erode away rock. Enough punches with enough time thrown in this method can erode away the toughest opponent. It's a physical law. We are all humans. No one is a demigod or a god or whatever, and can't be physically stopped. Everybody can be stopped. Of course, some people are drastically harder to stop than others, but it's all about another metaphor, using the right key to open the lock, or the right code to unlock the door, or maybe to set off the bomb to explode your opponent. We're going to get into the canals for different hand positions, some of the details for that, so that therefore you can take that and actually start visualizing and really letting the hands flow like how gravity flows water through cracks and crevices. But before we do, remember I have that ComboCraft system out now, and we go deep into this, and it also gives you the practical practice for exactly what you need to do, how to do it. And so using that along with the information in this video and this metaphor, powerful combination together. So make sure you check that out. The canals for hand positions. So people end up in different positions. We need to intellectually understand what is open from those positions. Hands up position, let's say someone's like this, hands up, depending if they're square like I am, straights are open, uppercuts are open, hooks are open, body shots are open. Maybe not the floating rib, right? The floating ribs on either side, right? But that's it. Now, if they're sided up a little bit, you know, same anatomical punches are open or openings on my body. But that's where maybe it's more of, maybe not a lead hook, but it'd be an uppercut, things like that. But that's what's so funny is that with an inaccurate puncher, hands up is like a cheat code, meaning that if someone doesn't know how to, doesn't have good accuracy with their combinations, they just kind of throw a speedy combo that they're not, I almost want to say not thinking, but then that runs in contrast to this idea of just letting the punches flow. But the accuracy hasn't been developed. Their ability for their hands to flow into the openings hasn't been developed to actually truly seep through the cracks and the crevices. It's kind of like throwing ice cubes at openings versus just blasting someone with a huge thing of water, right? Water is going to get everywhere. You throw ice cubes, some of those ice cubes will get through and it'll make them a little bit wet, but it's not truly going to be that liquid effect that I'm talking about. But someone that has that liquid effect and they have a way and they understand how to subconsciously have their punches seep through every opening, then hands up is oftentimes not enough. You have to combine that with other things. You might catch some ricochets. You might stop some random shots. But again, just like going into water, it's gonna get you wet. Now, low lead hand. In that position, there's a lot covered actually, but we have the openings over the top of the lead shoulder. If we're both orthodox, the overhand right. One people don't talk about a lot is the right hook for the body. That's open as well because of the sided up position. It gets right on that borderline of legal and illegal, but legal. And then you have the lead uppercut going up this gap up the middle because you typically don't have the left hook coming around and you don't really have a left hook to the body as well. You might have the jab as well, depending on positionings, but those are the different pathways and openings. Then high hands, obviously someone's hands are up high, the body's wide open for you. If they're more like this, then there's less hooks and it's more straights and body shots. If they're more like this, then it's just more hooks and body shots. And remember, just like water gushing into openings, maybe this closes and it makes it so the water doesn't hit me straight on the face, but it comes around and then I open up, it comes right up in the middle. And that's, again, talking about the remembrance and wanting you to get this concept if you're struggling with combinations, which most people do, is to not be thinking about individual punches. Is that a 2? Is that a 3? Is that a this? Is that a that? Just seeing the openings, and then when you visualize seeing your hands, your fists going through those openings, and then when you spar, don't force it, just let it happen. Just let it go through those openings. Don't think about what punch am I going to throw. Is it going to be a 1, 2? Is it going to be a 2, 3? Is it going to be an uppercut hook? What's it going to be? Just let the hands find the openings, just like how water finds the cracks. Now, bent over position. Someone's bent over to the rear side. You're both orthodox. You got the overhand right. You have the left uppercut again, similar to the low lead hand. And you also, if you hook for the body, like a left hook for the body, you'll probably hit their head as well. And then, and depending how their waist and torso is, you got the body. And then if they lean on their lead side, you got your rear uppercut, your right uppercut, and you have your lead straight typically, as well as probably a lead hook to the body. And then last one is someone leaning back, right? One that's hard for people to deal with, specifically if you're fighting someone taller than you. But typically straights for the body. And when we throw these straights for the body, let's keep in mind what opens up on us, right? When we go for the body, our head opens up automatically. Therefore, when we shoot these straights for the body, let's drop levels, right? Drop levels, so therefore our shoulders pop up to protect us and make it safer versus if we do, and also we'll get more power. It's very hard. Obviously, if you're too high up in general, throw any body shot, it's going to be hard to make power. So you want to be lower with in general. But specifically with straight punches, you need to bend the knees, bend the waist a little bit to line it up to get more power with it, but also to be safer. It's beautiful how those two things work together. Then in this last section, we're going to talk about how canals are carved, right? And again, this is something I dive way deeper into in the ComboCraft system. Now, headshots, obviously, set up body shots. Body shots, obviously, set up headshots. So as your hands are flowing, right, you might start flowing those hands up top and the hands go up, and then your hands just find a way to find the body. Or they go down for the body and they start flowing up top. They're filling in any of the openings. Then straights and uppercuts, set up hooks. So as things come forward to stop straight shots, that's where the hooks come around. And as things go to the side, right, that's where the opening is up the middle, whether it's the straights or the uppercuts. And just letting your hands find those. And again, that's achieved through, like I've talked about in plenty of my videos, being loose. And like Tony Zale said, 2-time middleweight world champion that, my father got to work with a little bit and even sparred with when he was an amateur. He said, you get loose, you go to the top. He said, I was going nowhere until I got loose. And he was still kind of stiff as a pro, as a world champion. But can you imagine what he was like before that? Get loose, you go to the top. You get loose, you're able to let those punches flow like you see some of the greats flow. Obviously, a great example of a flowy combination puncher is someone like Muhammad Ali. He's not thinking about every single specific punch. Yes, he thought about it at one time when he was, going through his boxing journey. But over time, what was once took all of his focus, now takes no focus. It just happens. He just lets it happen. Those 4 levels of competency, where you have 2 of incompetency and 2 of competency. You are unconsciously incompetent. You don't know what you don't even know. Then you have consciously incompetent. That's one of the most painful parts, right? When you're getting into boxing or anything, you're like, whoa, I thought I knew a little, or I thought at least I knew a little more than that. And you're like, wow, I know absolutely nothing. Then the first level of competency, it takes all of your mental focus. It takes everything you got to just do some basic stuff, like just a freaking jab, right? Or to not get beat the hell out of. Then there's that unconsciously competent. You're unconsciously competent. You're not thinking about it before you do it. Again, I can't stress that enough, that the best boxers, the best combination punchers, they're not thinking of every punch they're throwing before they throw it. They're not planning, I'm going to do this right now. There's moments where they say, okay, I'm going to do these couple punches to start, right? But then a lot of times those reactions and interactions that occur are completely reflexive, but they're not really reflexive in a sense that they're not born or innate. They're developed over time and with enough training. And again, jumping back to the ComboCraft system that I built out, I have what happens and occurs during a lot of those intangibles, as well as, like I said, the call outs for different combinations, different punches, so that you can start ingraining it in your nervous system. So just like walking doesn't take focus, it becomes like walking, and you just let it go. And that's where you get to that level where you can be planning ahead, not planning 1 step ahead. It's 3-4 steps ahead. You know about different things and you're watching for different things. That's a whole nother thing too. When we're throwing our punches and our combinations, your hands are just flowing. While they're flowing, you're not thinking about what you're throwing necessarily, right? Because you've done enough practice over enough time. I'm talking years of doing this consistently. But you're letting your hands flow that are creating the openings, finding the openings, and exploiting the openings. But while you're doing that, you're watching. You're watching for them coming back. And either you've experienced this, you've done it, or you've seen people do this. They're throwing. Someone throws something, they react to it. They pull from it, they slip from it, they block it, they catch it. That is that level that if you're not at that level yet, you will be. Just continue along the process. All right, guys. So check out the ComboCraft system. Hope you enjoy this video. Comment below about your experience with combination punching, maybe some of the drawbacks you've had, some of the successes you've had, because it's important to acknowledge both of those. And that's something I go through with all my guys. With any type of performance they have is hey, what did you do well? What do you have to work on? And what are you going to do about it? Right? Now, of course, there might be some moments there where I'm like, hey, you actually did some other things well you didn't even mention. Or, hey, you didn't notice there's this other thing that we were having challenges with, right? And then what are the opportunities? How are we going to get better? I want them to try to come up with their own plan, but of course I'm going to guide it and make sure that we are going after the highest leverage activities.